Well, hey there YouTube. We got a little project today. This is not a curbside lawnmower that I found. This is actually my dad's lawnmower. It's 20 years old. It's a Craftsman. I'll show you a little bit closer look at it here, but this thing still runs like a top, and there's a reason why. It's because we take care of it every year. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to give it a tune-up, change the oil, and get it all ready for next year. Maybe we'll get another 20 years out of it. Come with me. We have a Craftsman, 6 horsepower, 21 inch. We do have the bag, but it's back at my dad's house. No need to bring that for a tune-up. It has the big back wheels with bearings in them. They're the originals. They've never been replaced. The front ones have. There's no bearings in those. They're probably 5 years old. I have, at one time or another, put a new primer bulb in. I put a new rope in. And I replaced the cable several years ago. The one that was on it got pinched. This one's actually a little bit too long, but we made it work. So let's wake up this guy and get that oil warmed up. Alright, let's change that oil. And I meant to show this before. I think you can see there the oil is dirty. There's quite a few hours on this machine, not just this year, but in total. On these simple push mowers, typically you do have access to the oil drain plug underneath. So you can either take that out and let that oil drain into a bucket or an oil pan, or you can do a side dump, and that's what we're going to do here today. While the mower is on its side, this is a great time to take off the blade and give it a sharpen and balance and clean off any debris that might be under the deck. Whenever you're working under the mower, for safety, disconnect the spark plug boot. That way it doesn't accidentally start on you. Here we are in the basement. I'm going to sharpen that blade. I'm going to don my safety glasses, my beautiful purple gloves. I used to sharpen it with a file, but now I use a grinder. This is an old Ward's Powercraft. I think Kmart made a knockoff of this too. My grandpa's old grinder still works great. We're going to use it to sharpen that blade. And we've got a nice sharp edge. on both sides of this blade. We're going to check and make sure it's balanced. Two ways to do that. Sitting on top of this old Beta VCR is a blade balancer. This is how I like to check that my blades are balanced. Set it on there and see if one side is heavier than the other. And it looks like the right side is just a little bit heavy. So I'm going to take a little bit off that side, take some off the back probably, and put it back on. And one more trip to the grinder. And that looks pretty good to me. So let me show you the other way that you can check for balance. All you need is something as simple as a nail in a piece of wood. Hang the blade on it and see what it does. And here it looks good too. Time to put back on the blade. There's probably a torque for it. I don't know what it is. I just put it on tight. And you want to put the blade on the right way. The blade turns when it's running counterclockwise, so you want the sharp edge to go that direction. I don't know how many times I've seen mowers with the blades on upside down. It's going to cut like crap if you put it on upside down. Now we're going to put oil in it, and since this engine is 20 years old, I am going to put some Lucas oil stabilizer in it. I think you're supposed to do like 20% Lucas, 80% oil. I just kind of eyeball it. Like people often say, this isn't the space shuttle, it's a lawnmower. It's about 45 degrees outside today, so that stuff comes out like molasses. And then here's what I use for motor oil. It's just 30 weight cheap stuff. I believe you do want oil with detergent. You don't want a non-detergent oil. And these engines take about 20 ounces total. I've got like 12 in this quart, so I'll have to get another one. I like to let that settle, and then I check the level. Alright, while I wait for the oil to settle, I'm going to take a looky-loo at the air filter. We mulched a lot of leaves with this guy this fall, so would not surprise me if it's dirty. Not too bad. I'm going to blow this off. I'll bet we can reuse this. Good as new. Back in it goes. And you can use either a flathead screwdriver, or I like to use a 5/16 socket. And the oil, I don't know if it'll show, it's right below the add mark, so I'm going to put a little bit more 30 weight oil in. Let's take a look at that spark plug. It takes a 13/16 socket. If you just ran it, this will be hot. Alright. It's a little bit carboned up, I'm not surprised. This mower does use a little bit of oil. I'm going to take this downstairs to the wire wheel and just clean it off. I'm not going to show that. Here is the spark plug, all cleaned up, if you're curious. It is an RJ19LM Champion. We're going to put it back in. And one last top off and check of the oil, and it's right on the full mark. Let's give it a start. Okay, all tuned up. Let's see what it sounds like. So there you go, YouTube. That's how you do a quick and dirty tune-up on your lawnmower. This is going to go back to my dad. I did mulch a few leaves with it just now. Ran like a top, like I knew it would. It's a good little lawnmower. One last thing we will do before we put it away for the season. We will run all of the gas out of this. We do that every year. As a result of that, I've never had to take the carburetor off and clean this. It's never been off. So, we'll do that back at my dad's house. Thanks for watching.